Prabha?
Hi, Srinivas, you there?
Hello, yeah, hello, Prabha. How are you?
Yeah. Good, Srinivas. Sorry.
Yeah, I was there yesterday also. I was there in the session.
Okay. No, I have not seen.
Okay.
So that's why.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll speak to you later, Prabha.
Sure, Srinivas.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Hello. Good morning, Prabha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Ma'am, shall we wait for 2 more minutes?
Yeah, ma'am. We can.
Yeah, students are joining.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am. Hello. Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, ma'am, we can. We can.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. A pleasant morning to all. I, Dr. Rupa Temkar, Associate Professor, Department of MBA, extend a warm welcome to all to 5 days workshop on applications of analytics in business, organized by Department of MBA, SJBIT. Before we start, I seek the blessings of Puja Swamijis, and with due respect to our principal, I extend a warm welcome to you all to today's session. And also I extend a warm welcome to our speaker, Dr. Prabha Kiran ma'am. Welcome you, ma'am.
thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
also, yeah, and also welcome my faculty colleagues, faculty members, and student participants to today's session. Welcome to you all. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rupa ma'am. Thank you so much. And I hope, I think this is the last day today, or they have another day.
No, ma'am. Today is the last day, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So I hope over the last 5 days you have at least got a glimpse of what analytics is, and I'm telling you, this is just a, I mean, I can say a small dot in the whole, actually the whole of the content what is available. Not even a small dot, I believe. Okay, so there is a lot to learn, there is a lot to explore, there is a lot to practice as much as you can. And this is just, so whatever the college has done, I'm sure you have got a glimpse of what to expect and how you can, if at all you want to develop or build a career in that, how you can go ahead doing that. So I'm sure you have all got a glimpse of that. So today what we are doing is, in most of the cases, I don't know how many students are from, I'm sure all of you from different backgrounds. So today's session will predominantly be using SPSS. Okay. But having said that, there are many other tools that are available which can be used, and they give us a very good results. Having experienced, so I have worked with R, I have worked with Python, I have worked with SPSS, yes, at the elementary level. So when we start learning analytics at the college level, at the elementary level, I think SPSS is one of the very strong tool which you can start learning to get hands-on in terms of understanding what it is and how the data can be managed, because concepts remain same. Okay, understand the concept remains same. Only thing which will differ is the platform, the tool that you're using, that might change. So depending upon your requirement, depending upon what is your objective, depending upon what kind of results you are looking for, or what is that you are doing in your research, you can choose the particular specific tools as per your convenience. In social science, yes, for survey kind of a data, you have SPSS, you have structural equation modeling, or AMOS is another software which is used, AMOS, which is used predominantly at the college level and at research level. Going ahead, you have, for finance, you have eViews, which helps us doing some financial modeling techniques and things like that. So you can explore eViews if you're interested in learning financial data, analytics. So the elementary level to start off with will be eViews, and then you have many other available tools which can be used. You can do it using R. R is a very strong tool, and used in corporates most frequently. Using R, you can do multiple things. So those of you who want to get into this, start getting accustomed to R as well. You can attend some simple programs, and probably you will have an idea of how R is. R is again very simple. You have the predefined syntaxes, you have the predefined algorithms, and it requires minimal amount of coding. So people with a bit of a background in coding may find it easier, but those who don't have, you don't have to worry. You can easily learn. Again, as I said yesterday also, technical skills can be learned, but your logical skills, that you have to develop over a period of time. Okay, some have it, some have to develop it, right? So on that note, I will start today's session. We will be predominantly working on uh, the three major tools that are generally used. If I can get a quick response in the chat box, how many of you have used SPSS before? How many of you have used SPSS before for any kind of a research or any kind of a work that you have done for yourself or for your own? For students, it is for their work, for their personal in the assignments in college, and for if there are faculties for their research. And how many of you are aware of SPSS and you have used SPSS? Some quick responses in the message chat section would be helpful. Okay. How about some students responding? That would be really nice. Okay. It's okay if you have not used. So accordingly, I will pace my session. I am definitely okay if you haven't used it or if you are not aware of it, we can accordingly pace our session, because if you have not aware of it, then I think it will be a bit difficult. Okay, because we are going to learn today a bit of a higher end analysis, and whatever I'm trying to do today, you will have a glimpse of how it can be utilized, or what are the problem statements and what kind of problem statements can be analyzed using these things. Okay. Okay, fine. So as I see a few of the faculties, yes, I'm sure you have used it. Students probably have not much accustomed to the using of SPSS, but definitely guys, it will be helpful for your master thesis. When you're appearing for your master thesis, you can drastically bring a different kind of, yeah, looks like students have not used it. That's fine. That's completely fine. So you should get accustomed to it. The software name is SPSS. Okay, the latest version, I think 26 is running. And I'm sure your college must have, if the college was open, you must have got a chance to visit your system lab, and then you can actually work on that. Having said that, if ma'am, if you, in case you require the software, how do you use it, ma'am? Then in that case, how will the students use it?
Ma'am, we have installed the software in systems, ma'am, in lab systems.
Yeah, but okay, so students have it with the systems, not in their own systems. So it's student systems.
No.
Okay.
They have to make use of the lab systems.
Okay, got it, ma'am. Fine. Okay, so that's fine. So it is not a problem. SPSS is a very simple tool. Okay, the advantage of using SPSS is that it is graphical user interface. It doesn't require you to do any syntaxing, or it doesn't require you to write some codes. All the codes are in the backend of the SPSS, which is already done, pre-written. Okay. Okay, more than 20 plus students who have not yet used or even aware about it. No problem. That's fine. That's okay. Thank you so much for that update. Okay, so that means we are dealing with a crowd which is predominantly unaware about the SPSS. Now, SPSS, as we know that it is a software which is given by IBM, and IBM SPSS is predominantly used in many colleges for giving these kind of workshops, or using faculties and students are using these softwares for doing the research work, doing their personal project-based works and things like that. So it would be nice if students can actually get used to using this. You can start looking at different aspects. So I'm sure all of you have run statistics as a part of your course. Have you done that? Statistics as a part of your course? And or research methodology that we call?
Guys, please respond now. Have you studied statistics?
Okay, good.
Sharon?
Fine. So we have, I'm sure you have done it. I know it is there in the course. So you must have definitely studied. And having said about the statistics, you are all aware of different types of tests that are utilized generally. Okay. So you must have heard about t-test or ANOVA test or correlation, regression. Now, these are the simple tests or the basic tests which people generally utilize it using. So in statistics, you must have done using manually. Okay, manually you must have calculated and written the answers. But now using the software SPSS, these things are all it's all prepared in the back end. You just have to click the numbers and you get the answers. So the job is very easy. Okay, so clicking is not the thing that I'm going to teach you today. So it is all about interpreting. After clicking, after getting the tables, what is that you have to interpret? What is that you see that will make sense of your data? Okay, how can you present your data to the people? Because clicking anybody can do. That is not the, so when I say data scientist job, a data scientist job is not only about gathering data, analyzing data and everything, but also presenting the data in a more layman form so that everybody else can understand. You must have seen a lot of poll results going on in the news channels. Okay, if they just randomly say some numbers, will you understand? Will the viewers understand? No, right? So they have to make sure that the data is presented well to the people who can, even a layman can understand. And that's the beauty of data visualization. You have a lot of interesting tools for data visualization. You have Tableau, which is being extremely useful in terms of data visualization. You have Azure. You have multiple platforms like that wherein data visualization have become really interesting. Okay, now this is a part of a quantitative analysis that we are trying to understand. What about the qualitative analysis? In the qualitative analysis, we have some softwares again, you have text mining or content analysis, which can be done using text mining. Okay, you also have some places wherein you can actually create the netnographies. So these words you can try to search it in Google because it will help you understanding in more detail. Today we don't have that much of a time that we can discuss on all these in detail, but you can actually go back and look at these words, which will help you in understanding how the present day data is being mined, how the present data analysis is being done. Okay, so these are a few of the things which you can actually go back in. Text mining, you have sentiment analysis, which can be done using multiple software, using Tableau or using Azure or using, even R helps us doing that. So you can do those sentiment analysis wherein understanding the sentiment of the crowd. Okay, what is it that is, what is the crowd talking about a particular thing? Okay, how is the crowd's mood in the particular situation? Definitely you will have n types of data from multiple sources, and multiple source data can be analyzed together, and that's the beauty of these softwares. Okay, so today let's me begin with sharing my screen first. Yeah, please confirm if you can see my screen, guys. If you remember yesterday's session, we have discussed about different types of data analytics, right? So we studied about descriptive, we studied about predictive, and we saw about prescriptive. Okay, so under the three sections, I have got one analysis just to show you how it works or what is the agenda or how it can be presented. Okay, now for descriptive, I'm sure in your stat class and RM class, you have seen about, different, how to calculate the frequency, a measure of central tendency, measure of variations, and then percentiles, depending upon where in a class, where is a particular person standing. It's a measure of position. Okay, ranking, percentile ranks. Okay, you have those ranks given, right? So those are the things which come under the purview of descriptive analysis, wherein you're describing the data. Okay, predominantly using for describing the data. The other next part is about prescriptive. We'll go to descriptive, prescriptive, and then predictive. So the third one is prescriptive, wherein we will study about the factor analysis and why is the factor analysis required and how it can be useful and things like that. Under predictive, I will try to show you a little bit of modeling using regression analysis and how SPSS can be used for doing all these analysis. Okay, so let me just continue with this. Let me know if the SPSS screen is visible to everybody.
No, ma'am.
It is not? Okay, let me just new share. How about now? Is it visible?
Yeah, ma'am. Now visible.
All right. So this is your SPSS sheet, guys. Okay. So if you, those who have seen, I'm sure you can resonate with this. This is your SPSS. This is how it looks like. You have some columns in the top. You have some columns. You have a data view. You have a variable view. So depending upon how are you loading the data, it will be shown over here. Okay. So this is a few things which you should understand here. This is name, type, width, decimals. So these are the columns which automatically will be filled when you fill the data. Okay, so what I will do is I will quickly go to the analysis level, because we are trying to understand understanding of the SPSS will not be possible today, because again it takes time. So today we will be studying about the concepts in detail about how and what is the things all about. Okay, so I'll just quickly load a data. You just have a look at it, how to load a new data in this. I'm going to the file. I'm going to open a new data, open a data which is already there in my system. Okay, and I'm going to go back and see what kind of data I'm looking for. Okay, wherever your data is placed. Okay, and I'm going to go back and probably I can take some data. I'll take a factor analysis data. That would be easier. Okay, okay, factor analysis. So I can teach you from this itself, from where and how it is. Now, if you see, automatically my data has got loaded in this. Now, this backend work is required. You have to store your data in a particular place. Probably you can have a session on that. We don't want to get in detail right now, as it is not the topic that we are discussing. We are discussing on in terms of factor analysis. So I am beginning from factor analysis because you will understand from factor analysis how we move ahead. Okay, now why is a factor analysis done? A factor analysis is done to understand uh, what are the different factors. So for example, you're trying to explore a particular factor in terms of why are people getting infected with, because due to this COVID. Okay, there may be various factors associated with this. Okay, why is the COVID cases increasing in the present scenario? So you can identify various factors on that. Now, based on the factor analysis, you can have multiple questions. So for example, you get around 25-30 statements. Why is something like this happening? And using factor analysis, you can reduce those number of items or number of questions into much lesser questions, which will be easier as a researcher. It will be easier for you to understand and analyze them, right? You can club them under, so the similar factors can get clubbed under a larger factors. For example, you can club multiple questions under one. So a social factor, okay, or psychological factor. So under social factor, you can have some set of questions. Under psychological factors, you can have some set of questions. So likewise, you can reduce. So your 25 questions got reduced to say around three factors only. Now, is it not easier to do analysis when we have that kind of a system? Otherwise, imagine doing analysis on 25 questions separately. Very, very tough questions, right? Very, very tough time. So what you can do is you can actually reduce your number of factors to lesser, and you can reduce your burden also, and without even removing any other question from your questionnaire. Okay, that's one thing. Another important thing is by doing factor analysis, you also understand, you can also, why is it called as a prescriptive? Because you can tell that, okay, because of so and so reasons, I have got these 25 questions were reduced to 3 factors, predominant factors, and based on these factors, the companies or the organizations can help in solving the problem. Okay, now look at this data. First of all, I have data over here. If you see this label column, I'm just increasing this thing for you. Look at the label column. See the type of questions that are there in the label column. By looking at these questions, can you understand what kind of data it is, or what kind of a questionnaire it is? Anybody can try to tell me what kind of a questionnaire or what kind of a data we're trying to collect over here? Just read few questions, you'll understand why are we doing this. There are questions on small savings instruments. There are questions on investment. There are questions on equity market being uncertain. There are questions on, so why, what kind of data is it? Any answers from the audiences?
It is based on the financial analysis of an individual.
Okay, yes, that's right. Anything else? This is a financial data. This is a financial survey which we are doing. Okay.
Using
Any other thing
Likert
which
scale.
you can identify? What are these questions trying to depict? What kind of factors we are trying to identify from this?
Their preferences towards investments or savings out of their income, their
Okay, so
ordering or
say,
preferences.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think you have actually got the right thing. So basically, we are trying to understand what are the factors that a consumer sees when he wants to make an investment. Correct? What are the factors a particular person sees when he wants to make an investment? Now, is this kind of a study required? Do you think it is required?
Yeah, definitely, ma'am.
Definitely, it is required because
Yeah.
banks will understand. Based on that, they can create or they can prioritize the customers on these preferences. Perfect. So now I have so many factors over here. So many questions mentioned over here. Is it easy for me to do on every question? Is it easy for do an analysis like this? It is not. It is very difficult. So what I will do, I will try to reduce, maybe based on the similarity, based on the similar answers that students that the respondents have given. What I can do is I can reduce this into smaller factors. Okay, which will have, so a larger factor having multiple similar type of questions answered in that. That will make my job easy. That will make a researcher's work easy, and I can collectively give a reference or a preference based on their choices. So what I will do now here is I'm going to go to analyze. It's very simple in this particular scenario. It is very, very simple. Okay, using SPSS. Otherwise, it takes a difficult task. Otherwise, what will happen? Individually, you have to identify. You see the data view over here. This particular data is almost of how many people are there in this data sets. I have almost around it's a huge data set, by the way. 552 respondents. You see this? So total number of respondents for this particular data is 552. Now it's a huge respondent database. Okay. If I have to understand, if I want to do one by one analysis, how much time it will take? Plus I have so many items or so many questions mentioned over there. So what I will do, I would run a factor analysis to understand what are the predominant factors. What are the predominant factors that the respondent have said for preferring a particular investment plan? Okay, so why do they want to invest? Basically, that's the question. Okay, now I'm going to go to analyze. The process is very simple. Go to analyze, and what am I trying to do? I am reducing the dimensions, right? From almost 19 dimensions, I want to reduce my dimensions to, say, depending upon how much ever I want to do it. So I want to reduce my dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to dimension reduction, and I'm going to factor. Okay, so analyze, dimension reduction, and then go to factor. Okay, I click on to the factor. Now I want to make sure that all these are taken into consideration. So what I will do, I will select all these items or the questions. So in research, social science research, the questions are also known as items. Each question is called as items. Okay, they are also known as items. So don't get confused if I'm calling items in between. Okay, so each question is also known as items. So I'm selecting all my questions, all my items. I'm putting them together because I want to study these carefully. Now I have to do some. Now factor analysis will help me understanding a lot of things. It will help me understanding what is the weightage of a particular factor, which factor is getting clubbed where, and all those things. Okay, so how do I reduce them? So first, let's put some things to them. For example, I am, instead of selecting Uniway, I want to select initial solution because that's the best possible statistical technique I can use, initial solution. And then I am checking the KMO Bartlett test of sphericity. Now, KMO Bartlett test of sphericity tells me whether the data that I am trying to understand, okay, whether it is adequate for my study or not. So sometimes what happens, if you're running factor analysis on a smaller sample size, it may not be the right representation of the analysis that you want to do. So in order to make sure that you are justifying that sample size that you have taken, you can always go ahead and click on KMO Bartlett test of sphericity. It tests for sampling adequacy. The term uses sampling adequacy, adequateness of the sample that I have collected. Okay, so this is KMO Bartlett test of sphericity. I'll go ahead and continue. Now let's get into extraction. I am looking at principal component extraction because that's the most suitable method I want to understand in terms of all the given components, who are the, or which are the predominant components in mine. Okay, so I want to understand using the principal component analysis. That's fine. Now, in the extraction place, I have two options. There is based on eigenvalue or based on fixed number of factors. Now, if you do based on eigenvalue, again, you will not be having the control of the particular data. But the moment I fix the numbers, so I decide as a researcher how many factors I am expecting from this particular item. Now, in a normal thumb rule, every factor or every variable that we consider should have at least 3 to 4 questions that I'm trying to measure. So going by that logic, we have around 19 factors. Okay, so I would start off with putting it as 4. I'm fixing the factors to 4. You can fix anything else. You can check again whether the 4 factor is better or extracting 5 factor is better. So depending upon whichever you are, so now we are doing a permutation kind of a permutation combination methodology now. If I do 4 factors, what is my result? If I extract 5 factors, what is my result? Okay, so now I'm fixing it to 4. Maximum convergence is 25. So the iterations will be done based on the 25 iterations. And I can also display my factors on a plot. So I can click onto this scree plot also. Scree plot tells me whether or not a particular extracted factor, how it is represented on a graph. That's all. That's the indication of a scree plot. Okay, so I'm going to say continue. Okay, now I want to see rotation. So I want to have the maximum rotation so that I can get the maximum output generated or a maximum extraction is possible. So I will go ahead and do a varimax rotation. Okay, and then I will continue. Right now, do I want to save the scores? No, right now I don't want to save the scores. So I'll continue. I don't want to save the scores or anything. Now here I have to see whether I want to exclude the cases list-wise, pair-wise, or how I want them to be shown. So let me select exclude the cases pair-wise. Okay, you can check with all 3. We will see with all 3, or let us start with first one. We will see with all 3 how the representation. Now this is nothing but the output when it comes out, how it will look like. Okay, so whether I want to exclude certain things, I want to include certain things, I can do all those. Now there is another interesting option of sorting by size or suppressing the small coefficients. So I will sort by size and I will also suppress smaller coefficients. Why I'm doing that? Because see, for example, if the extraction is less than 50%, okay, if the extraction from the sample is less than 50%, it makes no use. It is of no use to me. So on an average, as per the literature reviews that we have done, that we do, the literature says that any value which is 0.4 and above, as per Indian standard, it is 0.4. If you see some foreign authors, it is 6 or 7. Okay, so we will go by the standard size of 0.6. Okay, 0.6. So any value which is, when I say 0.6, it is 60%. Okay, 60%. Or if I say 5, it becomes 50%. Or if I say 4, it becomes 40%. So right now I'm going ahead with 60%. So when I say that any value which is extracted more than 60% is apt for my study, and I can use them in my factor analysis. Okay, so now I am going ahead and saying continue, and then I go ahead and say okay. So this is very simple. I am getting some outputs and all those things and things like that, if you see. Now, so we checked KMO Bartlett, right? Remember, we checked KMO Bartlett. Now this is my KMO Bartlett output. KMO Bartlett sampling value is really good because it is around 87%. If you see here, it is around 87%, right? And 0.87 is a very good value because anything above, so for a KMO adequacy, anything above 0.6 is considered to be a good value. Anything above 0.6 is considered to be a good value. Okay, so here the value is 0.87. So I can blindly go to the concept of significance, right? Significance, whenever the sig value or the significance value is less than 0.05, it is told to be a significant value. So here the value is 0.000. Some value is there. It's not 00 value. There is some value going ahead. If you go, there will be some value over. It's not 0. Okay, so sig value here is it is significant, definitely. So I can go ahead with my, depending upon the factor analysis KMO result, I say that this particular sample that I'm using for measuring my factor analysis is valid. I can go ahead with this. I don't have to have more number of samples. This is adequate enough for running the next level. Now, what do I see next? If you see this first table of commonalities, now this commonality is nothing but it is telling me from the individual question that I had, what is the extraction that I have got it, or how much of the responses or respondents have actually weightaged or given the weightage to this. What is my extraction of the answers that I'm looking for from this question? Likewise from this question. So if you see, go on seeing, you see there are some 0.6, 0.7. That means this particular question is a very important question for the respondent. The extraction is really good, 0.719. Likewise, if you see, so anything more than 0.4, 0.5 is a very good extraction. Anything which is less than 0.4, you can actually go ahead and omit that question because that question is not doing justice to your questionnaire or the question that you're asking your respondent. You can remove that question from your questionnaire and rerun a factor analysis. It will give you a better result. That means the respondent is not marking that particular question as an important question. Okay, so that's how it functions for factor analysis. So this is the understanding of these each item and commonalities. If you see commonalities, this table tells me the extraction limit of individual questions with respect to how much of the extraction I'm able to get from these commonalities. Okay, now come down. So each and every question is getting done over here, and we have used principal component analysis, that is which is shown over here. Right now, come to the next table. This table talks about, so remember we had fixed the factors to 4. So only 4 factors are getting extracted here. And the cumulative extraction from this particular table or from this particular data is 55%. Look at this 55%, if you can see this. Okay, this is the 55% analysis which is possible. I mean, extraction which is possible from the data that we have taken if I am taking 4 factors. Okay, now let me go back and change this. So you will see how the change happens. Right now I will go back and I'm going to make that 4 to 5. Let us see if there is any change in the cumulative percentage that we have extracted. Okay, so it was here, not here, sorry, extraction. Yeah. Okay, so I had put 4. I'm going to put 5. Now I want to extract 5 factors, not 4 factors. So let's go ahead and continue. See if there is any change in that. The other things remain same, they don't change. We will go back and check at this particular thing. Do you see the change in the factor in the extraction level? When there was 4, we were having 55 point something. Now when I changed it to 5, it has increased. So extraction has increased. Now I'm getting greedy. Can I make it 6? Let me go back and check. Let me go back and see if I change it to 6, whether things are changing or not. So I'll go and make it 6. Can I extract 6 factors from this? Okay, let me go and check again. Everything else remains same. I'll go back and check. Oh, it's increased to 65 now. Okay, whether it is better than the previous one? Is it better than the previous one? Obviously, right? Because we are able to extract more, extraction percentage has increased from the previous one. Now, can I go on increasing the factors and I can go on making sure that my extractions are good? Let us check. Now I will go back and I'll go and make, because the better the extraction, the better your factor analysis looks. So I'm going to go back and try to make it 7 now. Okay, let's see. So now please note it is 65.319. I'm going to make it 7 and check whether it is having any improvement on that. Oh, it's getting increased again, 70. So can I go on increasing like this? Let me hold on. So let's go back and see down. Okay, this is my scree plot, which is trying to tell me how are my factors getting extracted. So if you see, this is one clear cut extractions. We have taken 7 as of now, please remember. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, beyond that, there are some factors implemented, but they are not having much of a change. They hardly have any difference in terms of one to next. So I'm stopping at this. Now, this is the only thing which I can infer from scree plot. Scree plot will give me, based on the eigenvalue, based on my number of factors that I have extracted, how is my factor looking at. So presently I have 7 factors. Please make a note. And I'm able to extract around 70% of the data. Now, look at the component matrix. Okay, we don't have to look at this. We have to look at the rotated component matrix. This is the matrix which will give me my clear-cut factors that are being identified. So I identified 7 factors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I identified 7 factors. Now, these 7 factors, all the questions that I had put up across in the beginning, all the questions that were there in the factor analysis have got distributed, And mind you, we had checked that anything above 0.6 will be taken into consideration. Anything less than 0.6 will not be taken into the consideration, will not be mapped across these factors. So if you see, all the values over here are more than 0.6, correct? Now, if I make a change, because there are some papers which say that 0.4 is also a good value. Okay, a lot of papers predict 0.4 to be a good value, and most of the foreign papers predict 0.7, 0.6 or 0.7 to be a good value. So I will go by and I'm going to change in terms of extraction. It's fine, 7, let it be 7. Rotation is very max, everything remains same. In terms of options, I'm going to make the absolute value change to 0.4. Okay, because there are literature supporting this. I don't want to lose my questions, right? I don't want to lose my questions. If you see here, let me just leave. I haven't run this. It is the previous one only. If you see these two questions are not mapped anywhere, right? So I'm losing that two data directly. So I'm losing these two. So as a researcher, I don't want to lose any data. Okay, I'll try to incorporate as much as possible. So what I'm doing now, I changed my minimal value from 0.7, 0.6 to 0.4. Let us see if there is any change in the way loadings are happening. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. I'll come back to the rotated component matrix. Yeah, now look at this. Look at this. Am I taking everything now? All the questions are coming in, correct? No question is getting wasted from my side, right? Everything else is coming in now. So anything less than, so 40% extractions, 40% of the values that I have commonalities, wherever it is 40%, I have accepted it in under my purview of my analysis. So I'm not losing any data. I'm not having any problem with anything, and all the other values are still there. Okay. But if you see here in this, if you see this particular item, this particular question, it is getting loaded in 2 factors. It is getting loaded in second as well as fifth. See this one, 0.415 and 0.692, these 2 places, right? Now in this case, what do? Which one should I take? Which one can I take? Shall I take this one or shall I remove this one completely because it is getting confused? This particular item or this particular question is getting confused between this and this, where to go, because it is getting loaded in two places, right? So what I will do is I will go ahead and take the higher version, or I can run one more test. I can analyze, I can go and run. Probably I can make that, because this 0.4 is causing problem to me. So what I will do, I will make it as 0.5. Okay. Now I'm extracting 50% of the sample. So this automatically will not be shown to me. So I can go ahead and click OK. If you see now, look at this now. Is it all sorted? So all the loadings are perfectly sitting under each and every factors, right? Now, after doing this, by doing this, what I have done, I have made sure that my 19 dimensions got reduced to 7 dimensions. Is it an easy option for me to run analysis now? Right? I can run analysis on these now. So this means that factor 1 or the dimension 1 consists of all these questions. All these questions are a part of dimension 1. Probably there are similar sentiments expressed, or the way of asking the question is similar. Look at the questions now. Sufficient small saving schemes are available. Procedure for getting regular return is simple. Okay, no hindrance, comfortable. Investment in small savings is convenience. So all these kind of factors are getting loaded in a similar kind of a one dimension. So these together will form one dimension. Likewise, if you see these two questions, investing in small saving, because it has protection and then there is no risk. So this protection and risk are sitting under one dimension. Okay. Likewise, if you see all the other items are based on the way it is framed, based on the question you are asking, based on the responses that you have received, it will be going and sitting under. So instead of asking your name, what is your name? Your name is this. I think your name is this. So all these together are asking only one factor, one dimension, your name, right? So that is what is happening over here. Instead of asking the same question again and again and again in different ways, what the SPS is doing here? They are actually trying to collate everything together and put it in one dimension. Okay, so that's what happened in this particular case. All right, and then you can go ahead and finish your this is your factor analysis, which is completed. Actually, you can name these dimensions based on this question which is sitting over here, and then you can go ahead and go ahead and run correlation on this, go ahead and run your regression on this. That's the possibility of doing that. Okay, so by running a correlation, you will check if these dimensions are correlated or not, and by running a regression, you can check if there is any relationships between the dimensions that you have identified and how are they able to analyze it. Is this clear to everybody, the factor analysis? Any doubt in factor analysis? I can take it quickly.
Guys, if you have any doubt, you can ask.
Have you understood what I just spoke? Why did we do a factor analysis? Have you understood that at least? So we did to reduce the dimensions, okay? And also I did to understand my data much better, understand them in a more dimensional, more larger factor chunks, okay? And that's why I did a factor analysis. Any doubts in factor analysis can be quickly taken.
Hope there are no doubts now.
Okay, I'm not sure if they're following that, because generally I get a lot of questions in factor analysis, and that's why I started with this. This is a bit tricky concept. So I hope they've understood. Right. Okay, fine. So I'm assuming that I was a wonderful, speaker, and you all have understood everything without any doubts. So I'm taking it in a positive way.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, so we have run the factor analysis, and this is how the factor analysis is run. Okay, one thing to keep in mind, if we are using SPSS for running factor analysis, please make sure that your items are, or the questions are in scale type. When I say scale type, they should be having this Likert scale type of questions. Otherwise, you cannot run those items for factor analysis. That is one thing to keep in mind. Okay, very important to have this kind of a response for your questions. Okay, you should always have this kind of a scale variables or scale items should be used for measuring factor analysis. Okay, right. So shall we move to the next one? Next one is my next I want to show you is the regression analysis. There are two types. One is simple linear regression and then multiple regression. Okay. Now, have you heard this term regression? Can I get a quick answer or a comment in the chat section? Have you heard this thing called, regression analysis? That would give me some hope that yes, what we are doing is making some sense. Regression analysis. Have you heard of regression analysis? I'll open the data. In the meantime, you answer. Please let me know if you have heard the term regression analysis. If you've heard regression analysis.
I hope at least one can answer. You'll be having an idea, right? Yeah, we have an answer, it seems, ma'am.
Okay. So,
yes, ma'am. Sagar.
Okay.
Sagar, you can talk, you can speak, no? Please unmute.
Yeah, Sagar, I'm glad that you had the courage to respond in the chat section. So can you please tell me, where have you heard this term regression? Where have you heard this term regression?
At least you can check and answer, no? If you have forgotten, you can check and answer.
Okay. So guys, regression is again a very strong tool, which is used for checking relationships between the two variables. For example, okay, if I want to check the relationship between, say, for example, the sales, okay, sales in a particular organization with respect to promotions, okay, sales to promotions, whether promotion led to sales or not. Okay, if I want to check this kind of a relation, I can go ahead and do analysis using regression. Now, promotion and sales, there are only one variables. So there is one variable which is called as independent variable. Okay, there is another one which is called as dependent variable. Okay, so independent and dependent variable is what we try to understand here. Okay, let me just share the screen once again. Yeah. Tell me if you can see my Excel screen. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So when I say regression analysis, regression basically deals with relationship. Okay. When I say relationships, relationship will be between dependent and independent variables. Okay, independent variables. Now you must be wondering, what is this dependent variables, independent variables? I don't know. Have you heard of these two variables, dependent and independent variables? Tell me quickly. Have you heard of this dependent and independent variables?
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard this particular thing?
One of you can answer, no? Anisha, you know or you don't know?
If you don't know, then I'll go in detail. Otherwise, because this will not take much time, but you have to understand what I'm talking. If you're not able to understand, then it is of no use. Okay. So relationship between dependent and independent variable. Now, what is a dependent and independent variable? For example, sales are depending on how the promotions are done. I'm making a statement. Sales are dependent on how is a promotion done. Okay. What do you mean by that now? I'm saying sales are dependent on how the promotion. So can I say that sales is depending on the way a promotion is done for a particular product? I can say that, right? So in this case, what happened? In this case, my sales has become, what is my sales now? Is it dependent or independent? Sales is a dependent variable. Very good. Okay. So sales is a dependent variable and my promotion is independent variable, right? So my promotions don't depend on sales, but my sales are depending on promotions. Okay. Can you see the screen now? Please tell me.
Yes, ma'am, we can
see my screen. Oh, fine.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to draw some shapes. Let me know if you're able to follow them. So now what happens here is, where is my text box? Yeah, here it is. Okay. So I'm saying now that my sales, let me increase the font size for you all, so it will be easier for you to see. Ideas 18. Yeah. So yeah, now it's okay. Sales depends on promotions. Okay. So as you rightly said, my sales is dependent and my promotions are independent, right? Right. Now, when I want to check the relationship between these two is when I'm going to do my regression. So my regression will tell me, regression analysis will tell me if there is any relationship between, these two variables. So it is independent variable, dependent variable. Okay. Right. Now, they're also called as, this is also called as predictor variable. Okay. Just different names, the way of calling. Okay. So I'm going to check in simple terms whether there is any relationship between my sales and promotions. So how will I make my hypothesis here? What will be my null hypothesis here? My null hypothesis will be, I'm testing, right? So regression, I have to have a null hypothesis. So I'm testing my relationship between sales and promotions, right? And what we are doing here is, this particular thing is nothing but, this is a simple linear regression. Okay. Simple linear regression. Please make a note of it. It is called a simple linear regression. Okay. Now, what will my hypothesis over here? Because there are only one variable in the independent, one variable in dependent side. So my hypothesis will be, there is no relationship between sales and promotion. Okay. And what will be my alternate hypothesis? That would be that there is. So I'll just take the whole thing, but I will remove the no part because I'm checking the alternate hypothesis, right? So I will remove this. This will not be there. So this is my hypothesis, which I have to test. Now, let's come back to the SPSS, what we were trying to understand. In this case, if you see, what are the two variables given over here? It is income and monthly saving. Now, let's take this example. Okay. In this case, in the given case, what will be my H naught? There is No relationship between, there is no relationship between, what are my variables? Income and monthly saving, right? So this will change between income and monthly savings. Okay, and accordingly my H alternate will also change, that there is a relationship between income and monthly saving. Correct? Have you understood till here, all of you, how to frame the hypothesis for this? This is clear with everyone? Okay, now let's go back and do the analysis over here. So I am trying to understand whether there is a relationship between income and monthly saving, right? So what I will do, so this is a linear regression that I'm trying to do. So I will go to analyze. Okay, I will go to regression, and I'm doing a linear regression. So I'll go and do linear regression. Okay, now let's understand what is what. Now in this case, whether income will depend on saving or saving will depend on income. Tell me. What will depend on what? Tell me guys quickly. Whether income depends on saving or saving depends on income. So what is my dependent and what is my independent? You have to tell me now. What depends on what? Come on, it's very simple.
Here is an answer, ma'am, by Rakshita.
Okay.
Savings depends on income.
Savings depends on income. So can I say my income is, my saving is depending on income? So my dependent variable would be my, is it saving or income? What will it be? So I can put my
Saving, ma'am. Saving by
income
Jyoti.
as, income as, income as, what will be my income? So my savings depends on income. So my saving will come in dependent. My income will come in independent.
Independent.
Clear with this one? Very simple. Okay. Then don't do anything, guys. Just go ahead and click OK. That's it is required for this. Okay. Now you will get a lot of things. So it is very simple. I'm sure you will remember doing it manually, but look at now, it is very simple and direct. Now understanding this is important. Okay. So we decided that my income and savings are, whether we have to check whether they're related or not. So first of all, what we will do, we will go and come and check our ANOVA, this table. Okay. I'm going to copy this table and I'm going to paste it in this particular place. So we'll understand one by one. Okay. Now, this is the ANOVA table which I got from there. So this ANOVA table, if ANOVA, so I'm trying to check my hypothesis. The hypothesis is, my null hypothesis says there is no relationship between income and monthly savings. And the other hypothesis says, alternate hypothesis says there is a relation to income and monthly savings. Now in my ANOVA, if you see, my ANOVA is significant. Can you see this? My ANOVA is significant. What does that mean? My ANOVA is significant means that the hypothesis that I'm trying to state may be true. It is true, okay, because it is significant. Now come back to your family output of this particular thing. Okay, come back to output of this. Look at this model summary. So there are 3 tables you have to see when you run the regression. Only 3 tables. Forget everything else. 3 tables you have to see. One is your model summary, one is your ANOVA, one is your coefficient. So even before going to model summary also, you should first check your ANOVA. If your ANOVA is significant, you can go to model summary. Okay. If your model summary is fine, you can come back and check the coefficients. Okay. So your model summary will be followed only after your ANOVA is significant. If ANOVA is not significant, there is no point running regression at all. If this value doesn't come significant, then there is no point running regression at all. Okay. So now your ANOVA is significant, and going back to your model summary, if you see your R value, R square value, adjusted R square value is what? So these are the few things which you have to notice. Okay. Now in this case, if you see, there's something called predictors. So predictor is nothing but your income is predicting your savings, correct? If you see here, dependent variable, here it is. Dependent, and in ANOVA table, dependent variable here is total monthly savings. Predictor is total income. So income is predicting your savings. Now, your ANOVA is significant. Go to your model summary. I'm going to copy this model summary as well. Right. Okay, let's see what happens. How do we interpret these things? Now, my predictor or my model summary is telling me clearly that, yes, there is a relationship. How much is a relationship? I have to check. Now, my income is impacting my savings. By what? So if you see R square value will actually tell me what is the level of impact. What is the level of impact? When I say level of impact, how much it is actually impacting. Or if you say R value is 0.404, R square is 0.616. This is trying to tell me how much this R and R square value will tell me how much of impact is happening on, or what is the relationship between these factors. Okay. Now, if your R square value is, this value looks less. Okay. R square just looks less, but nevertheless, it's fine because we are still having ANOVA value being significant. So we can say that there is a relationship. Probably apart from income, there are many other factors that are leading to savings, so that are having an impact on savings. Okay, or that are influencing my savings. So yes, monthly income is one of the factor, but there are other factors as well which can be incorporated to measure this particular thing. Now come back and see the other, and one more table you have to see is coefficient table. Coefficient table will tell you that whether your total income, what is the extent of impact? What is the extent of impact? This unstandardized beta value that you see, you have to see and clearly identify. It will tell you, the unstandardized beta value will tell you what is the extent of impact. Okay, how much of this is getting impacted? In this case, the value here of beta value here is 0.161. Okay, and you should also go back and see, if you see here, it is significant, right? So in the coefficient table, your income is significant with an extent of impact, which is the beta, unstandardized beta value of 0.161. Okay, now I'll copy this table also. So for my regression, I only need these two tables, these three tables, sorry. Okay, these three tables. Okay, these three tables is what required. Now, what I will do, what I have done over here is I am going to make a text box. Okay, I will show you what I have done. So this is, let me write it over here. This is my income. Okay, my income is, let me copy this and paste it again. So this is my, okay, another value, which is my savings. Okay, and my savings are dependent on income. So I am going to insert one shape. Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So I am going to insert my savings dependent on income. Okay. So wherever, now if you see this particular diagram, wherever my arrow is ending, that particular place or that particular variable becomes my dependent variable. If you see my arrow ending, so the arrow should be always pointed from independent variable towards dependent variable. So my income and savings are related in a way that the savings is depending on income, monthly income that I say, right? Now, let us know, you know the value of how to write the regression equation. That's also equally important. You will only complete this regression modeling if you're able to predict, we are predicting a equation, right? So in this case, I'm going to write a predictor equation. Okay. Now you all must have read about the line equation. What is the equation of line? Line equation says y is equal to mx plus c, right? Mx plus c. In this case, we can directly relate. Now, regression equation is always a straight line. Okay, a straight line equation wherein your y is nothing but y is your dependent. Okay, dependent is equal to m is your constant. Okay, m is your beta value. Sorry, m is your unstandardized beta value. X is your independent value. Okay, independent value. Okay, plus you have the constant. Constant is your c value, which is over here, this value. Okay, now if I have to write the regression equation, what is my dependent? My dependent is savings is equal to, what is my beta value? Standardized beta, unstandardized beta coefficient is 0.161 multiplied by, what is my independent value is income. Okay, plus what is my in constant value? What is my constant value? It is a, which is 3281.033. Okay, this is my regression equation, guys. This is my regression equation. Okay, this is my regression equation for this. Now, what does this equation mean? It means that every time if there is a 1 unit change, in savings, that means the income is getting changed by 1.61 times. Okay, for every 1 unit of change in saving to happen, income should change by 0.161 times. This is my regression equation for a simple linear regression. Okay, simple linear regression. Ma'am, do we have time? I have to finish the multiple linear regression as well.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, we have, ma'am. Till 12 we have.
Till 12 we have time, right? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
This was what we did was simple linear regression. Now let's, on the similar ground, what I can do now, what you have to do over here in the regression equation, when you write, you have to mention all the equations in this also, right? So your R square value should be mentioned. What is your R square value? R square value is nothing but 0.163. So whenever you are depicting a regression equation, always on the arrow, you must mention the R square values. For example, in this case, I will go ahead and put the R square values as, one second, insert text. Okay, so let me just put it across here. So my R square value is equal to, what is my R square value? 0.163, and my beta value is equal to 0.161. Okay, so I can go ahead and put this value on this just to give it a good look. Okay, that's how. So this is not a variable. Please understand, this is not a variable. These are the variables, but that is the way of depicting my regression equation on my you can actually remove or make it transparent. You don't want to make it look like, you know, something, so you can make it transparent. You can just make it transparent, format the shape, and you can make it transparent. This is not required. Okay, this one you can just depict it. So this line equation, when you see this line, this relationship line is what is depicted by this, my R square value and my beta value. Now let us go ahead and do, this is simple linear equation. So what you will go ahead and say that yes, there is a relationship. So you are going to say that null hypothesis, which said that there is no relationship between income and monthly savings is rejected, because your there is a relationship because ANOVA value is significant, and what is the degree of relationship, that you can go ahead and write that is the degree of relationship between R square value and the beta value. Okay, that's it. That's what you will interpret saying in the end about this particular simple linear regression. Okay, And what does it mean? So you're actually independent, right? So every time you can give this modeling, the regression modeling equation can be given to the people or can be given to the organizations, and based on this they can actually decide. Okay, can you not calculate your savings if your income is available to you? You can calculate, right? So you have all the other values given. If you know the income, how much is the income, you can calculate savings automatically. So this is actually a regression equation for understanding what will my saving be if income is so and so. Correct? I can do that. Right. Let's go ahead and do multiple regression equation now. Multiple regression equation is very similar to what we just did. Only thing is you will have more number of independent variables. Okay. So let me open the data for multiple linear regression and go and open the data for multiple linear regression. Yeah, multiple regression. Okay. Right. So I'll take away this. Yes. Okay, now this is my multiple regression equation. Okay, multiple regression equation, my multiple regression data. Now in this case, if you see multiple regression data, this data clearly talks about the car sales. This is a car sales data. Okay, when I say car sales data, whenever I want to depict or whenever I want to understand what are the reasons based on which a particular car is being sold. Okay, what are the reasons why the particular car is being sold? So I can identify those reasons. I can identify which reason is more predominant than a particular reason, why people go for a particular reason, all that I can identify using multiple linear regression. Now, here I want to understand that a car sales is depending on multiple factors. What are those factors? How are those factors related? Whether all the factors are related or not, or some factor is not related, it is important but not related. All those questions can be again understood using this particular analysis. Okay, so in this case again, let me go back and do a regression. We are doing regression analysis. We are doing multiple linear regression analysis. Okay, now what is my dependent variable? My dependent variable has to be a sales. Okay, sales. So I'll put sales in thousands over here. Sales in thousands is my dependent variable. And what are my independent variables? It has to be a lot of values. Other values like, for example, 4-year resale value, or the resale value can be my independent variable. Price, okay, engine, horsepower, wheelbase, width, length, curb weight, fuel capacity, fuel efficiency. Okay, so these are all my factors that may be responsible for sales of the car to happen. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and click this. Okay, now look at this particular. So what do we see first? I'll go back to my Word file. I'm going to mention over here the new factors that we are trying to understand over here is sales of a car. Sales of a car, right? So how are sales of a car being impacted by, and what are the factors responsible for sales of the car or influencing of the sale of the car? Okay, now what is my dependent variable? Dependent variable, dependent variable is sale of the car. Okay, so sale of the car depends on multiple independent variable, right? Independent variable. Multiple independent variables. That is, there are a lot of variables which we listed down, right? So all those variables will be, we'll put it across over here. All those variables will come across here. Look at this. All these are my variables, right? So what I will do here, let me first try to understand how and what and which variable is important. First of all, what is that we are supposed to see? We should see the ANOVA table, whether the regression equation that I'm trying to form is significant or not. So in this case, yes, ANOVA is significant. So the predictors and the dependent equations that I'm trying to form, yes, they are significant. Okay, yes, they are significant. So I can say clearly that sales in thousands or the sales is going to be dependent on all these factors. Yes, it is significant. Perfect. Next, let's go and look at the model summary. So based on the factors that I'm trying to understand, how much is the impact of that equation that I'm trying to depict? What is the impact of the equation? Okay. So when I say R value is pretty good, look at the R square value. R square value is 31 or 0.319. That means these factors are exploring or explaining 31.9% of the impact that the dependent variables can have on sales. What happened to the remaining? What happened to the remaining? Okay, that may be taken into consideration by few more other factors. So as and when you increase the factors, definitely your R square value is going to increase. In this case, if you see, how many factors you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 factors. Okay. Now, are all the factors important for a customer when he wants to buy? That we have to now analyze from this particular table. In this table, go to the significant value. Okay, look at the significant value. Wherever, I'll just copy this table for you to easily understand. I'll put it across in the Word file so we can quickly understand this table. Okay. Now, in this table, if you see, how many values are less than 0.05? How many values are less than 0.05? Only in those cases, you can say that, what do you say? For example, you see engine size. Okay, I'll just mark them so that it will be easier for you to understand. So this one, okay, this one, okay, followed by this one. This value is less than 0.05, which is going to be significant. Okay, and 0.05, this is a lesser value of 0.05, right? Now, I think that's it, right? So of the given 9 factors that you took, okay, although all the factors contributing to the impact of sales are valid, but which are the more significant factors? The more significant factors are the engine size, the wheelbase, and the curb weight. The curb weight. Okay, so depending upon the responses that were received for this particular questionnaire, for this particular research, it was shown that these of the given so many variables that were identified, only these 3 variables are having a significant impact, although as a whole model, the whole model is valid. Are you getting this point? So you can clearly go ahead and say that only these values are important. Sometimes what happens, you end up getting a negative value in the, sometimes in the beta value, for example. Here you can see some negative values are also there. For example, if you see curb weight has a negative value, but it is significant. When the value is negative, it clearly indicates that there is an inverse relationship. There is an inverse relationship. For example, most of the time we see risk and investment, I will be having a negative beta value because there is an inverse relationship. So if as and when the risk increases, the investment will decrease. Okay. So that is the inverse relationship when you have a negative value in unstandardized beta coefficient, which is over here. Look at this value. This value is a negative value if you see. That means in this case, the curb weight in the equation depicts a negative relationship or inverse relationship with the actual sales that are happening. So it says that as the curb weight was increased, probably the sales had declined. Okay, the sales had declined. And that's what the result says. I'm not sure if, why this is happening now. That is for the organization to go back and look at. What I'm just trying to say is, in this case, the model that we depicted is going to have a direct impact on my sales based on all these factors are important. But these are the 3 significant factors, or these are the 3 most important factors considered by the respondent in terms of buying or purchasing a particular vehicle. Have you understood up till here? Please tell me. Have you understood up till here? Any doubt so far? Any doubt so far? So we have to see ANOVA table, the coefficient table, and then the model summary table. The model summary table is telling me that all the factors that I'm trying to inculcate in this particular model, I'm going to see that it is explaining 31.9% of the total factors that I'm able to depict from this. The remaining, you can add few more factors or you can rework on the factors. Definitely, if you add factors, this is going to improve. I will show you one more result. Okay, just if you want to experience one more, how it looks like. So I'll just open one more data and show it to you. Okay. Let me open this gold data. Okay. Okay. So now here I'm trying to understand, how are the gold price impacted? How are the gold price impacted? Or what is happening to the gold price in terms of, when there are all the other variables that are impacting that particular thing. Okay. Now, let me analyze this. Let me go to regression. I'm going to see the gold price. I'm going to make a model, predictive model for estimating the gold price. Okay. So I'm going to put dependent variable is this gold price, because I want to understand how the gold price are fluctuating, and all these become my independent variable. Okay. Just don't do anything. Go ahead and click OK. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Look at the R-square value over here. So whatever data or whatever factors I have taken are extremely important factors, and they are highly contributing to the model. So model is extremely good, very good model. Okay, very kind of a perfect model, if I say, which is very difficult to achieve actually, to be very frank. Okay, now look at the ANOVA value. Yes, definitely it will be significant, because you can look at R-square. I saw it is going to be significant. Okay, it is significant. Now look at the values of the coefficient values which are here in this particular equation. So gold price is getting impacted predominantly by GDP, by savings in the percentage of GDP, and by GDP per capita. The other values are not significant, right? For example, inflation is not having much an impact. The real interest rate is not having much an impact, and the money supply, that is percentage of GDP, is not having much an impact. Now this equation, this clearly tells me that the most impacting factor, or the most impacting or influencing factors for a gold price are GDP in billions. I'll just copy this table as well, so you will get to know. Okay, let's work here. So GDP in billions, this one is the impacting factor. If you see this one, okay, followed by, then you have this one, which is significant. Look at the significant value. It should be significant, less than 0.05. Only those values can be taken as impacting factors in the equation. Okay, so these three. Others are not having much an impact. Now, among these three, which is the most significant factor? Which is the most significant factor? Look at the values, 11.616 for the unstandardized beta value, this value. Okay, percentage of GDP, look at this value, and then look at this value. So if you see, all these are having, now in fact, savings and GDP is having a negative relationship. So if savings increase, the savings in GDP increase, it says that the gold price is going to decrease. Okay, that's what this particular model is depicting. The moment the savings in percentage of GDP increases, the gold price is going to increase as per this model which we are trying to predict. How do I write this equation? Okay, how do I write this equation? Gold price, which is my dependent variable, will be equal to, okay, so I'll just first put all the beta values, or I'll put all the values first. That is my, let me start with A. What is my constant value? Constant is this one. Okay, I'll put this over here. This plus. beta 1, and this value GDP in billions. Plus beta 2 into this one, savings in the percentage of GDP. Okay. Plus, look at this. These two, although are a part of equation, but the final equation, they don't have much of an impact, and they are non-significant also. So I do not have to write them because they are non-significant. So I will not be writing beta 3. Similar to beta 4 is not significant. I won't write beta 4 as well. What is the next one? Beta 5. Beta 5, that is your GDP per capita in terms of US dollars. This I will be writing it. Okay. This is my final equation. You can put the values of beta 1, beta 2, and beta 3. For example, in terms of beta 2, this value is negative. So this term will become minus whatever the value over here is. What is the beta 2 value? It is minus 387.496. Okay. Likewise, for beta 1, what is the beta 1 value? Beta 1 value is 11.616. Likewise, for beta 5, what is the value? It is 11.810. Okay. So this is my final regression equation, wherein I can depict how is gold price related with all my given variables. Is it clear? And I can say clearly that 1 unit increase in the gold price, if it has to happen, then the GDP in billions should change by 11.616%. Savings should decrease by this much percent, and GDP per capita should increase by this much percent. Okay, that's what is the meaning of this particular. So this is how you complete the equation, guys. So this is very, very important to make sure regression equation is a predicting equation. It is a predictive analytics. So this will happen if this is what is supposed to happen. Okay, that's what I'm doing in terms of regression equations. Again, it is a straight line. It will be depicting a straight line. You can, if you have to plot this on a straight line, it will come directly, clearly as a straight line. I can show you that as well, how a straight line equation can be formed over here. If you see here itself, regression, go back here. If I want to put a plot, I'll put the residual plot and a Z residual plot, and I can put a D residual plot. I can show you how it looks like. Okay. Wait. This is sorry guys, sorry. It's a scattered plot. It is coming in, not clearly visible. So, but if you plot it on a regular basis, this is ZP plot which is coming in, which is not shown clearly. Okay, but if you plot this equation on a straight line using these values, whatever values we have found out, that value comes like a straight line actually. Okay, that really comes like a straight line. Yeah, so please tell me if you have any doubt so far, whatever we have understood. If there is any doubt, you can quickly ask. This is about your linear regression. Okay. Yes. Any doubts you have for linear regression or for factor analysis that we discussed? These are the two predominantly used. Correlation, you wanted to see correlation as well. We can do correlation if you want to see correlation. Ma'am, do we have time for correlation? Do we have time for correlation?
Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead. No issues.
It's a very simple. I can just show how correlation is done so that they can. It's again a very simple technique which.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
is
ma'am.
used.
You can. You can.
Okay, fine. So, guys, correlation. So we have done factor analysis. We have done regression analysis, linear and multiple regression analysis. For correlation, again, it's very simple. I will probably take the same factors of the car that we have, or the gold price we can take because the values were pretty good. So I can take the same factors if I have to understand correlation. Now, correlation in simple terms depicts, so I'll tell you how it works. Okay, so suppose I want to test what is the relationship or the what is the extent of relationship between two factors. Okay, that is when I want to check the correlation. Okay, and I want to see that how much are the two variables related with each other. In that case, I can go and do a correlation. So in this case, suppose I want to understand that these factors that I'm using them as predictors or the dependent or the independent variables. Okay, so what happens is whether all these variables that are listed are first of all related or not. Before even doing an analysis, I should understand whether there is some relationship between them or not. It has to be there. You cannot do a study on two unrelated things. Not possible, right? If you have to study income, or if you have to study savings, you have to study income. For saving, you cannot study something GDP or something like that, which may not be related directly to that particular variable. So to understand the relationship between the study variables, the correlation is generally done. And correlation also takes into account of the R value or the correlation. Pearson's correlation value is what we call them, the R value. Okay, the R value which you have here, the R square is something like that only. Okay, now R square, regression square values, and the Pearson's R value are very much related, because if you have a good value in Pearson's correlation, by default your regression values will come nicely. Okay, by default it will come good. If you have a good ANOVA, by default regressions will come well. Okay, so this is how, and if your regressions are very good, you can go ahead and blindly go predict that particular equation for that particular regression. So let's go ahead and do correlation. Very simple. You have to go to analyze, you have to go to correlate. Okay, and we are doing bivariate correlation because we are testing the relationship between two variables. That is why we are saying bivariate correlation. So bivariate correlation, I want to test for all the variables which are there in my study. I'm going to put all the study variables over here. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and okay, flag the significant. Rest everything remains same. Don't change anything, guys. So we are
Madam, 1 second. Prabha ma'am, can you just unmute yourself?
all right.
Yes,
I did not
yes.
see.
No, ma'am. No. Okay.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, you have unmuted yourself. You have muted yourself again. Yes, ma'am.
Am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
fine.
ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So when I'm doing a correlation clearly depicts whether there is a relationship between the two variables or not. In this case, I'm trying to test whether the variables under study are having any relationship with each other or not. Okay, so what I will do, this is the table you will get at the as the output of correlation. Okay, so what I do here is I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy this table. Okay, we don't have to show the table as it is. That's what we have to start learning. The idea here is doing a correlation is not difficult. Okay, how do I depict my tables? What kind of tables should I take from? So SPSS will give me multiple tables. Okay, should I take all the tables, or should I wait for the tables, or should I filter the tables based on my requirement? Yes, I should filter them based on my requirement. If required, rearrange them as well. Because SPSS is trying to give you in a particular way, the way it has been designed to. You may not require in this particular format. Same thing happens in correlation. Correlation table is not required in the format the way it is depicted in the SPSS output. what you should do, just copy this table, paste it in your Word file or wherever you want to make it, look up here. Wait. Has it not got pasted? It is there. Okay. So now what I have to do here is, now it is a big table for me. What do I do?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
Ma'am,
sir.
can you just share your screen, ma'am? We are not able
I'm
to
sorry.
see.
I'm sorry. I will do
Yes,
that. I will do
yes.
that. Please tell me if the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible, ma'am.
Okay. Can you see? Then I think you have not seen the correlation output as well. Okay. Look at this. I'll do it from the beginning otherwise. Okay. So I'll go to analyze. So how I did correlation? I'll just close this table so that I'll do it once again. I don't want to save anything from here. And I'll go back to this one. Yeah. So this is my goal data which we were working on. So I want to understand what is the relationship between the study variables that I'm doing for understanding the gold price. Also, I want to see whether the gold price and the other variables that are listed are related with each other or not. Okay. So what I did, I went to analyze, I went to correlate, and I went to bivariate, because I'm doing a bivariate analysis wherein I'm testing the relationship, or I'm testing the correlation or Pearson's correlation between the two factors. Okay. So I go and click this, and I'll do it once again, the whole process. That's okay. So these were here before, right? When I do it, it will be here. So when I want to test the relationship between all these variables, so what I did, I'm going to go ahead and push them because I want to study them. I'm going to check Pearson's correlation value, and I'm going to flag my significant correlations, and I'm going to just click OK. So when I click OK, this is the table I get it. This is the table that I get it. Now this table that is an output of the correlation analysis may not be needed in the similar format as it is depicted here. Okay, so I can actually make changes depending upon my requirement. We don't have to showcase the table as it is. And it is the case in most of the most of the SPSS outputs. Okay, what happens is SPSS outputs are predefined output which are getting generated. But in my research or in my analysis, I may not require them in the current format. I may have to redesign it or rework on it. That is a direct case in case of correlation. I don't want so many numbers to be shown and getting confused with. So what I want to do is I want only the required numbers. If you look at these values, the diagonal values are all 1. Look at this, have a notice of this. All the diagonal values are 1. And anything above the diagonal value or anything below the diagonal values are similar numbers. For example, let's look at this. Gold price with respect to GDP, gold price with GDP. This value is same as this value. Likewise, this value is same as this value. So they are basically mirror images. If you fold them diagonally, they are the mirror images actually. So you don't have to have a repetitive values showcasing in your final output. So what I can do is you can actually go ahead and forego one part of it completely and depict only one side of it. Okay. And you can also remove the sig values. You can, because almost wherever it is significant, this is not significant. If you see other places, if you see, there are some single stars and there are some 2 stars. Can you see these? There are some single stars and there are some 2 stars. Can you notice these few of the tables? Some tables have double stars. Here, some tables have single stars. So the depiction of that is wherever there are double stars, the relationship between those two variables is highly significant at 99% of accuracy. And wherever there are double stars, it is at 95% of accuracy. Okay. Or we can also say that they are significant at 0.01 level and they are significant at 0.05 level. That's the understanding of this. Okay. So if I have to interpret on all these are R values, the Pearson's correlation values. So when you're writing or when you are interpreting this particular, there is no hypothesis required for correlation. Please make a note. There is no hypothesis required for a correlation. Okay. And in terms of interpreting this, you can go ahead and say that Pearson's correlation value or Pearson's correlation value for between gold price and GDP in billions is 0.959, which is significant at 0.01 level of significance, and therefore there is a high correlation between gold price and GDP in billions. So in terms of correlation understanding, you always try to interpret them in terms of highly correlated, moderately correlated, or no correlation. For example, in this case, if you see gold price and real interest rates, there is no correlation in this particular case. So you can go ahead and say since there is the significant value is not there, okay, it is not significant first of all. Therefore, we can conclude that there is no correlation between gold price and real interest rate percentages. Okay, and for example, if you have some values like yeah, single star values over here. Okay, single star, that is 0.594. This is between GDP per capita and savings in percentage of GDP. Or you can come and back of here also. Gold price with respect to savings in GDP. There is a single star here. Single star also you can say that although there is a correlation, but it is a moderate correlation because you can see the coefficient of significance is there, but it is at 0.05% of significance. Okay, so you can say that it is a moderately correlated between gold price and savings in GDP. So you can go ahead and conclude at that level. So am I clear with this? So I just wanted to show you how you can remove certain tables and you can actually go ahead and depict only the required ones. Okay, so let me try if I can do that. Okay, so what I was saying here is you can actually remove and you can keep only the ones, the table which is required for you. Other tables can completely be not needed actually. Okay, yeah, here it is. Correct. Yeah, I'll just auto fit to the window. Yeah, now in this case, if you see, I'll just go ahead and put it down. Yeah, look at here. So what I will do is I don't require certain tables. I'm going to remove these two tables, these two rows. I don't require, okay, because I don't need them. Okay, delete cells. Delete the entire row. Okay, likewise, I will delete these two rows. Just have a look after you remove the tables and after you remove the rows and you make the tables as per your requirement, how beautiful this correlation can actually be depicted. Okay. And this has to be generally done for most of the outputs generated in the SPSS, because sometimes those values are of no use to us actually. So we are simply keeping them, loading them and getting confused with so many numbers being shown. It makes no use. It is of no use actually, to be very frank. Okay. And I also said you can remove one. So if you see now how beautiful it looks. If I remove this also, I can remove one side completely actually. Okay. I can remove one side completely. Not entire row, cancel. So I have to actually delete these cells, to be very frank. Okay. Delete. 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 You can keep either way. You can keep either the top one or the bottom one. It is completely your convenience because they are one and the same actually. Yeah. Now it is easier for interpretation, isn't it? It becomes easier for interpretation. I'm able to also look at things very clearly. I can easily interpret based on the gold price. I can interpret individually each and everything. I can this. So this is how you represent a correlation table. A final correlation table can be represented like this. Yeah. Any doubts in this so far? Any doubts in this so far? Is there any doubt in this particular thing so far?
Dear students, if you have any doubt, please you can ask or you can share in the chat box. Any doubt regarding the complete session? No, you can ask.
We are at
You
the
are
end
free
of
to
the
ask.
session actually. So if there are any doubts with respect to anything which we have discussed, you can go ahead and ask. Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I have a general question, not regarding this session especially.
Yeah, please.
Because nowadays data science has been more effective in across the world.
Correct.
So why can't university made that mandatory subject to us? Yeah, so that we can come to know that how the world is progressing towards data science and machine learning, so that we can get in touch with those things instead of learning basic function of management like that. If university provide these subjects to our core things, so probably it will help to our career also, no ma'am. This is what I have personally experienced.
Okay. Manju, your question is really interesting. And I think universities are also trying to inculcate the practices of analytics in their curriculum. Like, for example, many universities have incorporated analytics as a subject in various domains. For example, in terms of marketing analytics or in terms of HR analytics that we discussed yesterday. Likewise, for financial analytics. So the universities are already incorporating the curriculum slowly in their curriculum structure. So I don't think there should be a problem. I mean, as you are rightly saying that it is a need of the hour, and definitely universities have identified that, and we are slowly changing our curriculum to that particular thing. I'm sure the university or the SJBIT fraternity also must be incorporating certain curriculum in their structure.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Any other question, please? Any other question? If there are no questions, one quick descriptive analytics can be discussed. If you have some 5 minutes for descriptive analysis, that's very simple. It's basically the percentage analysis and interpreting the frequency analysis, and that's it. I'll just show you where it is in the SPSS so you can have a look of that. That's it. Then we can close the session. Do we have 5 minutes time for that? We focused on predictive, prescriptive, and the last part left is descriptive, which is quite simple. People already do that. When you run a Google form, if you must have seen the pie charts and the graphs coming up. That's nothing but a descriptive analytics of the respondents that you get it. A very simple, in simple term, you have to explain that. And that is very much possible in SPSS as well. And here, if you see, if you have to go to analyze, I'm not sure if I'm sharing the screen. Yeah. I'll just share the screen quickly if it is fine. Let me know if it is visible to all of you. You just have to go to analyze. There is something called as descriptive statistics. Okay, descriptive statistics. Under analyze, you have descriptive statistics, and all the descriptive statistics are given over here. So you can actually go ahead and try this with your available data. Okay. You have all the descriptive analytics. Yes. Analyze, descriptive statistics, and you have all the available frequency, descriptives, crosstabs, ratios, the plots you want to make, some graphs and plots, all that is available over here. Right. So that's about it. Anything else? If you want to ask, if you want to see quickly, we can see, or else I think we are. I mean, this is a very lengthy subject. It's a very lengthy process as well. We need some time. We need some little bit of more understanding of the platform as well. So it would be really nice if students can actually get to practice these platforms. SPSS is very basic, very, very basic platform to begin with. It's very simple, and it is not complicated at all. You just saw, right? The complication comes, as I rightly said last session also, I have told, it is not, this can be learned. Where to click, what to click, how to click, that can be learned. It's a technical knowledge, but the trick lies behind understanding the logic, interpreting the tables, understanding those numbers, and that requires some practice. So I'm sure all of you must have got a glimpse of what things are and how it can be interpreted and how things are. So those of you who had a doubt that, oh, I don't know mathematics, oh, I'm not good in numbers, oh, I don't know what to do. So don't worry about that. As long as logically you're inclined towards numbers, logically you're inclined towards understanding certain logics, and some things are very much easily explained, right? It is not that difficult. Technical skills, guys, it can be learned. It is not that difficult, but you should definitely try and practice as much as possible. And that's about from my end. Thank you so much for inviting me for this wonderful session. It was really very heartwarming session for me, because this is something which I like doing. In my college, I teach the subject. I teach marketing analytics. I teach marketing metric, and that's where the interest for these things come in. So I'm sure whatever little I could transfer from my end, the knowledge, whatever was there, I was able to explain your little bit in a more simpler terms. And thank you so much for inviting me for this session. That's it.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time, for your hard work, everything, ma'am. So I hope we have come to the end of the session. Dear participants, the importance of application of analytics in business lies in the fact that it helps in gathering a large volume of data at a much faster rate and present it in a visually captivating way. So at least a short of this, we try to do or share all these through our sessions. That is, we had our sessions from 9th of this month till today. And the sessions were on introduction to analytics, job opportunities in the area of analytics, and applications of R, hands-on on the third day, and use of analytics in different domains by Prabha ma'am. And today we had hands-on using SPSS. So hope through these sessions, we hope we have provided information to some extent, and we'll be sharing the course materials content shared by speakers in the group as requested by a few participants. So thank you one and all. And no duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks. With this note, let me propose vote of thanks. I thank everyone for taking the time to be here all the day and for listening to the sessions. And I thank our speaker, Dr. Prabha Madam, for her time and for sharing insights and information to our participants. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a wonderful session. Thank you all.
Yeah. And also, I would like to thank our management, principal sir, and our HOD ma'am, Dr. Mamata, for providing us an opportunity to conduct this session. And also thank all the faculty members, our colleagues, student participants for your interest. And also thank Silicon City management team for their technical support and for cooperating with us for sharing all the sessions in the YouTube. And I would like to say all these sessions, the videos of all these sessions are available in YouTube, and you can go through at any time. Thank you one and all. So hope we'll expect the same time of association and cooperation by you people in our future events. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
so
once
much.
again.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. Happy Deepavali to everybody, and have a nice
Yeah, ma'am.
weekend.
Same to you. Happy Deepavali.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.